To this now, as the country's unemployment rate continues unabated, one businessman has taken it upon himself to lend a hand in addressing the crisis. Tibatso Mpati created what is called BitTalent on social media, a platform that connects job seekers with companies. Now, to tell us more about this innovation and how it works, Tibatso himself joins me live. Tibatso, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for staying up to have this conversation with us. Now, we've just been talking a moment ago about the challenge in Botswana, where unemployment is somewhere around 27%, 38% for young people. We have similar numbers in South Africa, in the 30s, unemployment for young people. So let's talk about how BitTalent can deal with some of those issues.
So thank you. And it's not too late, it's only 9:30, right? So what we've done with BitTalent is, so what most people complain about is lack of jobs, right? The people like saying there's no jobs. So what we've realized is there's actually a barrier to jobs. Like there'll be like on certain portals, and then you talk to someone on the street and say, look, do you know that there's actually jobs on, let's say for example, LinkedIn? If you go on LinkedIn right now, there's going to be jobs, right? You go on other portals, there's going to be jobs. But most people, especially in townships and rural areas, don't have access to those platforms. So what we've done is collated all of these jobs, right? So what we're doing, we're consolidating the job market and making it accessible on WhatsApp. And to make it easier for people to find this job, so using AI to scan people's CVs and make sure that whatever you're getting there is actually relevant to you and only you, as driven by your CV. And that's just what BitTalent is. It gives you access to jobs using WhatsApp.
So that's pretty interesting. I mean, it certainly sounds a lot simpler than it might actually be. So so for argument's sake, I'm looking for a job as a public relations practitioner, right? Walk me through the steps of how I would use BitTalent to look for that sort of opportunity.
So we have a dedicated WhatsApp number, right? And then so what you do is just say hi, hello, to that WhatsApp number, and then it's going to respond to you. And then from there, you upload your CV. So within that process, it is simple, but let me just maybe talk to what happens in the background. So the minute you upload your CV, our system scans your CV to make sure that whatever we're going to recommend for you is actually aligned with your CV, right? And then once you have those, it's going to give you roughly like 10 jobs that you qualify for. So it's not only what you studied. So I like making this example. So in my case, right, I did actuarial science in varsity. I was inclined to only apply to roles that are actuarial, not knowing that I can actually apply to roles that are in data science, statistics, and machine learning and the likes, right? So what we've done is to avoid, not avoid, but to actually complement what you've studied, we give you 10 other roles that you qualify for, right? Then you select the one that you want. And then the minute you select it, we search our database and we search the entire web. So when I say the entire web, I mean everything that lives on the internet, to make sure that whatever job that's out there that you may not even know about, we're going to get access to it. Then you get that job. And then if you want to apply for it, what we also do, which is really nice, is we give you like a free CV review. So you can say to our system, look, before I apply, can you please review my CV to make sure that it actually matches this job spec that I'm applying for? Because one mistake people do, because sometimes we consult the recruiters, right, to say like, what's the mistake people are making when they're applying for jobs? One of them is people tend to submit one CV to multiple companies, and you shouldn't actually do that. What you need to do is make sure that your CV is aligned to that company. Hence, we have that option to say, look, before I apply, can you please review my CV? And then our system is going to review your CV and tell you that, look, maybe on this mention 1, 2, 3, mention 1, 2, 3, which is aligned. So it's not fabricating things. It's actually saying, according to your CV and this job that you're applying for, maybe try to add this just for this job. And that's how BitTalent works. And then from there you can apply. So we just give you access to those jobs.
So obviously a lot of artificial intelligence at work.
Yeah.
And what does it do for geographical location? I'd imagine if you're talking about scanning the entire web for jobs that are available, it then means that if I'm based here in Joburg, if I'm based anywhere in South Africa, I'm not confined to looking for a job or finding opportunities that are within the geographical location of South Africa?
Definitely. So when you search, you have an option to say search locally, meaning the country that you're in, or search globally. So you're kind of restricting it. You're saying, look, don't just search for everything, just search for things that are within. If you're looking in South Africa, you can say just search for things in South Africa. And then if you maybe want to check for opportunities abroad, you can tell it that look, just select global, and then it's going to search the entire world.
Tibatso, let's talk about success rate. How successful has the process, we're going to talk about the app in a moment, but how successful has the process been for individuals that have used BitTalent?
So the way we define our success, right? Actually, let's make sure that we actually make this clear to people. So post you getting the job. So what we do, remember, we consolidate all jobs, right? We make sure that you apply. So if you click on Newsroom Africa's application, that process where you submit your application and you go to the interview and then eventually get hired, that's between you and the company. What we do, our mandate is to make sure that you actually have access to those jobs. And then how we define success is people applying. And then so far what we've seen, this is week 11, week 10 and a half. We've seen roughly plus 9.5 thousand people just hitting the system. And this is across South Africa is, of course, the biggest. The whole of SADC, excluding Mozambique. We still need to go into Mozambique. We have Nigeria, which is our second largest user base, and then India, and then Indonesia, and the others, right? But the biggest ones are South Africa, Nigeria, India, and Indonesia. Yeah. So our success is really that. It's so far we have like 9-point-something thousand people, and then in terms of CV reviews, that's also something we measure. It's everyone that comes into the system almost does that. So they see value in that. It's okay. I actually have, because we didn't know about this. People actually charge to review people's CVs because, like, if you have a background in HR and the likes, of course, you can give that proper input. But we've seen like a really rapid increase in people reviewing the CVs because you can do it multiple times, right? So every time you apply, so if you, let's say you select actuarial analyst, right? You're going to get up to 10 jobs that you can apply to. So for every job there, you can do an individual CV review. So if we've seen a spike in that, showing that there's actually a need for people to get those proper reviews. And we're really just using AI there. So we've designed our own system that actually is centered around the recruiting road, right? So it gives you like a proper detailed review to say this is how you should, and the cover letter and the likes. So even before your interview, what you can do is say, prep me for my interview. And then similar to how it does the CV review, it's going to look at the job spec, do some research on the company and say, okay, this is the kind of questions that you can expect for this role. And then you can play around with it, you know, just to kind of feel yourself if you're going to be ready for that interview.
Now, you've said that there's a mobile number that people can use to access that service. What is that number?
Yes,
we want to get people trying and confirming that it works as well as you suggest it does.
Yeah, they'll confirm. Trust me. So it's 067 737 1147. So it's on WhatsApp. We don't have an app, so we strictly focus on WhatsApp. And the reason we chose WhatsApp is accessibility. Right. As you've seen now these days, every telco has their own WhatsApp bundle. And it is really cheaper compared to your normal data bundles. So you have people, so most of our candidates is really people who we were aiming for, because if you're talking about unemployed, you're talking about someone who doesn't really have money to buy your proper mobile data, right? So what we've done is WhatsApp, because we know that it's either they have like access to public Wi-Fi's or they can afford the WhatsApp data bundles. So we don't have an app. Don't try to go on the App Store or Play Store to try and download our app. It's simply just save that number and text hello or hi, and then it's going to respond to you and it will guide you. It takes less than 5 minutes to go through the whole process. So 5 minutes is a lot. For some people, because it's a matter of, the minute you upload your CV, you're done. It will guide you to say, okay, press here, and then you get the job and then you can apply.
Fantastic. Now,
I hope should I recall the number again maybe?
Yeah, I think I've got the number here. So you've said 067 737 1147.
Great.
Cool. And we will give our viewers a reminder before we're done. Now, how do you see the SAB Foundation Award that you won impacting the growth and reach of BitTalent? Was this a game changer for you?
So just a disclaimer. So the SAB award that we won is actually for another product that we have. It's not for BitTalent. It's for a tool that we've designed that helps children how to read and spell, also using AI. So that's a different entity on its own. So that's focused on teaching children how to read and spell.
Fantastic. Just very quickly, walk us through how that product works.
So it's called Reading Apple, and how it works is really straightforward. It's your child. It also works on WhatsApp. So as a company, we're trying, given Africa's demographic, right, we're trying to see how can we reach people in the most impactful way. And for us, it's WhatsApp, because by default, most people have WhatsApp, right? So Reading Apple, how it works is it will give you a child a phrase, right? Like John kicks the ball. And then you can record yourself like a voice note. And then you record yourself reading John kicks the ball. Then you send it to our system. And our system is going to analyze if you've missed any words, if you mispronounced any words, if you completed the full sentence, and then give you feedback. So it'll tell you that, okay, look, you didn't complete the whole sentence, right? Or this word was not spelled correctly, or you missed 1, 2, 3. And then from there, you can say, okay, what do these words mean? So that's now leading into, on top of just reading and spelling, it's now going into comprehension to say, what do these words actually mean? So it will give you like a detailed breakdown of those words. And then also, if you want to hear how to pronounce the words, you can actually listen. You can just, there'll be like an option to say, listen to it, and then it will play it back to you. So that's what we want for the SAB Foundation. And from there, we're going to kind of like accelerate it from next year. And the aim is really to make sure that it gets into every ECD center, right? Because if you go to rural crèches, even townships, most of them don't really have a budget to buy books. That's the reality we're living in. They don't have that budget to buy books. So with Reading Apple, you don't really have to depend that much on. It's not removing the need for books. I mean, our end goal is to make sure that every child gets that opportunity to read. Because in my case, right, the first time I bought a book, I was working. That was really late. You don't want to go through that.
Yeah.
So the first time I decided I need to buy a book, I was working, whereas I should have started when I was in primary. So our goal really is that is if you get enough children to kind of practice this thing daily, because it does motivate you, right? It gives you scores and whatnot. And then the aim is you're going to gain that confidence enough that you start having that habit earlier on. And it does really have an impact.
Fantastic. And finally, Thabazo, before we go, what does it cost? I'd imagine that we're coming back to BitTalent, and obviously the job seekers that are lining up to use the app. Is there a cost to use it? Yeah.
So the first 20 jobs that you get on the system are completely free. So you can do so right now. If you text Hello Hi, it's going to be free for the first 20 jobs, and then from there, what you're going to do is it's going to require. It starts at 20 rand. So once you deplete your 20 jobs, you're going to start paying. So it starts at 20 rand. 20 rand will give you 10 jobs, and then going forward. And then what we've also done is to make it easy for people to pay. We have we're going to be integrating with Blue Voucher very soon. Most people will know Blue Voucher, so you can literally just go to your spaza shop and just buy the voucher, put it there, and you're good to go. So the first 20 jobs on us. You can literally go inside the system, get a job, apply, hopefully get a job, and then that's completely on us. Because our really ambitious goal is we know that if we give everyone access to these jobs, hopefully we're trying to reduce the unemployment by roughly 50%. Because there is jobs, right? People just don't have access to them. So if you give everyone jobs that are those who are unemployed, you can reduce the unemployment rate, right? Then we're going to be left with a pot where now is upon job creation rather than job access.